y'all? This is Lance, BH Capital Enterprises, where I teach black people how to navigate the stock market, mainly using price action as a tool. I do some, fundamental analysis as well, but I spend the majority of my time teaching people how to read charts. Um, if you're new here, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel if you feel compelled to do so. Um, Hit the like button, hit the dislike button, whatever you feel, but share. There may be someone out there who can get value from this video, even if you don't find any value in this video. Either way, I'm grateful for your audience. Um, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up, Lance at bhcapitalenterprises.com, or you can just leave me a question or comment, or in the comments on the video. Find me on social media, BH Capital Enterprises on Facebook, on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me at BHCap ENTLLC. Same handle for both social media platforms. Um, this video is by special request. So in my previous videos, I, humbly suggested that, if you guys want me to do market markup on any other tickers, just, let me know, and I'd be happy to do so. But before I get into this specific ticker, I want to, remind you guys that this is not any sort of investment advice. This is not a recommendation for this ticker. I don't have any stock or anything in this ticker. Um, so yeah, this is just strictly for entertainment and educational purposes only. I truly enjoy looking at charts as it helps me become better with looking at charts, or interpreting price action. So um, if you want to inquire about my offerings as far as uh, charts is concerned, um, hit me up. Right now, I partnered with By the Hood University. You can find them on Instagram at By the Hood University. You can find them on pretty much any social media platform at By the Hood or By the Hood University. So I partnered with those guys over there, and created an introduction to price action using charts. And right now we're running a 50% off sale. So if you need the link for that, I'll post the link in the comment section or the description section of this video so that you guys can have access to that. So you can find that there, and they have other courses as well, with stock market analysis, precious metals, options, etc., etc. And there are a few other of their offerings that are also going for 50% off right now. So I'll leave that information in the description. I also have a 6-week workshop called High Tech Options Accelerated that goes a bit beyond that introduction to price action, or learning how to read charts. So it takes you from A to Z pretty much, with a lot of nuances in between. Um, Something really special that I'm going to be doing with this workshop is taking it in a live, in-person format. This will be the first time that I'm doing it, and I partnered with Sharika over at Onyx Wealth. Uh, and you can find her on Instagram. I think her Instagram is Rika Beasy. I'd have to double check, but nevertheless, I'll post her information there as well. But we're going to be doing High Tech Options Accelerated live in Raleigh, North Carolina on June the 22nd, or actually June 18th through the 22nd of this year. So coming up really fast. If you have any questions about the cost, uh, or whatever, just feel free to hit me up. There are some other videos on my channel, if you scroll down a little bit, where I have offered a little more thorough of an explanation of what's offered with High Tech Options Accelerated. So feel free to check that out. Again, let me know if you have any questions. But let's jump on into WWE. So what I'm seeing with WWE, phase one of the market cycle here, phase two here of the market cycle. Right now it's in phase three of the market cycle, which is not phase three, phase four of the market cycle, which is a markdown. So as you can see, the all-time high for WWE is $100.45, and it hit that in during the year 2019. And so after that, it had a pretty decent pullback from that level and has yet to recover. Um, it if it is the case that here this year 2021 it has found or it has bottomed out, then I believe that this ticker has room to the 120s 130s over the next few years or so. um, Seeing as though this is a yearly chart, it will take quite some time for this to play out. But again, it's just a hypothesis. I like to try to be, as non-biased as possible when I look at my charts. Um, so what I'm seeing here on the yearly chart is so far for this year we're seeing um, higher lows, and that doesn't always necessarily mean that the price has bottomed out. Um, but one thing that I would look for this year specifically is whether that price can reach a higher high for this year. And for it to do so, uh, then that means the price needs to get above 67.53. But another thing that I'm seeing is the significance of this $61 area on this chart. As you can see, so far this year, um, WWE, the price action has tested that area and had a pretty decent pullback from there. Um, so just I definitely be paying close attention to this mid 50s to low 60s area, because that's the area to beat first before hitting those higher highs that I mentioned just a short while ago. But yeah, yeah, that's all I'm seeing so far on this yearly chart. But I will let me draw a trend line here just to see if there's any confluence there as far as significance. So um, for this year, I would say, I would like to see the price close at least 60, at least at 60 this year. Um, for me to, and not saying me as in me, but just if I were interested in this stock, because this is not a ticker that I follow on a regular basis. But so for this year, 2021, I'd personally like to see WWE close above 60. And then that, for next year, I'd be looking to see if indeed it is reversing. So I would definitely keep an eye on that for this year. Um, yeah, so that's pretty much all I can really say. I believe about this yearly chart. I'm just looking to see if I see anything else currently, and I don't think I do. So I'll move on to the monthly chart and see how that's looking. All right, so with the monthly chart, we're seeing that the price is also setting higher lows. Um, it was a very short phase one here, enter phase two here, and maybe it's in phase three again. So although I don't typically like to estimate when the price may um, break out or break down from consolidation, based on this trend line here, I would say actually I'm gonna redraw that because that's based on the yearly. But sometimes I do that to kind of give an estimate of not necessarily when something will happen, but kind of like a range of time where it may happen. So and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about um, in just a second. But uh, just looking to see what I see here. I'm gonna take this off actually. So again, I'm seeing some. I like to call it static, but I'm seeing some significance of this mid 50s to 60s level once again. So, you know, not only is that showing as a key area on the yearly chart, it's also showing up as a key area on the monthly chart. So, for me, the more time frames that are uh, aligned in that sense, the more significant that particular that specific range of numbers or number is. So if I'm seeing that, you know, 60 is significant on multiple time frames, then that makes 60 more significant for me. Um, but yeah, so let me throw some trend lines on here and see what's what. All right, so as you can see here on the monthly chart, it is WWE is trading in a descending channel. It has tested this upper trend line twice in the past couple of years, and both times so far it has failed. It has also tested this this lower trend line a few times and has failed to close below that trend line each time that it's tested that trend line. So, um, again, that is pretty much in line with what I was saying on the yearly chart, where the the candlesticks on the yearly chart have been failing so far to close above that downward trend line that I showed you in the previous time frame. So uh, like I was saying before, it's really difficult to um, you can't really always accurately estimate how long something will consolidate. So this the price action could consolidate right past this trend line and then break out, or maybe even break down and head back inside of it. But um, I would say that probably by July, August timeframe, we should see something. Something meaning what the price either breaks out to the upside, or it consolidates out of the channel, or it fails again and, you know, heads down and continue this downward sentiment. But usually, as long as the price remains in this channel, then sentiment remains relatively unchanged, in my opinion, from a technical standpoint. So WWE has been bearish for quite some time. So uh, it could either be, you know, kind of pausing within the phase two of the market cycle, which is markup, which is bullish, or it could, you know, be just entering phase three where it may consolidate for some time. But again, Like I mentioned before, this mid 50s to 60s area is definitely a key level that I'd be watching out for. Let's see if I see, just trying to see if I see anything else. Here's a good example actually of what I mean. So if you draw a trend line here, and let's say we were looking at WWE at this point. So this is probably the point where I would be like, okay, sentiment is changing, at least from out of this channel. Um, you know, maybe sentiment is changing. So for me, this would probably be an entry. Not investment advice or anything like that, but I probably enter for some sort of swing, just depending on, how, other indicators are looking. But those are the types of things that I look for. But a breakout does not always happen like this. Like I said before, sometimes you get the price will consolidate out of that area. So gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. Let's remove that. Okay. Just looking to see if I said everything that I wanted to say. See if I'm missing anything on this time frame here. I don't think that I am. Sometimes I have to just stare at charts for a long period of time, and then I'll start seeing more stuff. But yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the weekly chart and see what's going on over there. All right, so you can see it a lot better. That sentiment, that technical sentiment that I was talking about, you can see it a lot better with this weekly chart. And again, you can see the significance of this mid 50s to low 60s range. As the price typically respects this area, whether it be it bounces from there, but it always seems to come back and retest. So back here in 2018, it shot up through that level, came back to retest that low 60s to mid 50s range, bounced there, and eventually came back, bounced again, fell through it this time, and then now it's back at that range. So the question is, does it bounce, or um, does it fall through? What does it do? Uh, and just going back to the thing I was saying about trying to estimate a range of time for something to happen. If you see this, if I were to extend this line out, then we would see that as long as the price stays above that 53 level, that low 50s, then this there will be some sort of resolution within from anywhere from Monday to out to July, August. Sorry, my throat is feeling really dry, so it's feeling really sensitive. What I'm also seeing is a potential bearish reversal pattern here. So for sure, if I were maybe considering a position in this, I would be definitely paying attention to this 53 or low 50s range to see if that level breaks to the downside, that is. And if it does, I believe it has the potential to go into the mid 40s and maybe even, worst case scenario down into the $30 range. So anywhere from $30 to 39. And I think the low 30s is, worst case scenario in my opinion. I see that earnings is coming up in the next month, so about a month out. But like I said, if this level breaks, then there's definitely a chance that this price could fall down into the $40 range. So that's something that I would definitely watch for. If not, we can expect volatility to decrease if the price remains below this trend line, but also remains above this trend line. Volatility will definitely decrease for this ticker. And then, like I said, at that point, we're looking for some sort of resolution within the next, few months, sometime in midsummer of this year. Um, let's see. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything else. Now I might look at this another time and see something else. But it's kind of late, as you can see. But I wanted to get this video out for that individual that requested me to look at this ticker. So I wanted to make sure that I get it out, so I can just get that out the way uh, heading into the weekend. Um, let's look at the daily chart. Okay, so the daily chart is also showing that static that I was talking about in that mid 60s, mid 50s to low 60s range. So I would draw a trend line here showing some obvious resistance or supply, depending on whatever you want to call it. What I am noticing is that today the price closed pretty much at the top of this gap here. Now, some people treat gaps differently. Some people, once the gap is filled, it's kind of no longer significant. But for me, the gap is significant until the charts show me that it's insignificant. So at this point, I'm not seeing that this gap is insignificant. So I continue to respect it. So what I'm seeing is it has a history of consolidating here inside this 54 to 58 range. So again, watching to see if this is truly a markdown. And like I said, if the price breaks this 53, then we could definitely see that price moving down into the $40 range. And at which point in this mid 40s range, you can see there is some historical consolidation inside there as well. So um, definitely some support down in the mid 40s. Um, for sure, yeah, definitely for sure over the past year. And this is a 1 year chart or daily chart over a period of 1 year. Um, yeah, so I'd watch to see if this level holds or if it breaks. If it holds, maybe it'll continue to consolidate, but it could also bounce and head up this way. So I'd watch for that as well. So either one of those scenarios could happen, and they could all be right at one period at one point in time. It's just a matter of you catching it, at the right time. Um, so inside of 54 to 58 is just straight consolidation. Um, Below this 54 to 53, 52, then the price can see below 50, maybe even mid 40s. If that mid 40s breaks, then we can see low 40s and maybe even into the to high 30s, high to mid 30s. But like I said, a breakout of this area, getting above that $61 range, then the price is probably well on its way toward back toward those all-time highs. So yeah, once it breaks that low 60s, then we can see the 65 to 66 range. And then historically, there's quite a bit of static in this mid 70s to uh, high 60s. So just something to keep an eye on. And again, even looking at this 2-year chart, you can see historically that again, going back to gaps. I didn't even know that this was a gap here. I just saw that there was some historical or some recent consolidation within this range, and it just so happens to represent a gap. Not even a complete gap, not even that complete, not even that whole gap, but just a good part of it. So that actual gap is down from like 49.50 up to 58. So it's like a 8 to 9 point gap there. But this only represents about half of that gap, toward the top half actually. So yeah, just keep an eye on those historical levels, and keep an eye on this trend line for sure. Uh, really all three of these, but really the overall sentiment is between these two trend lines, and it's been this way since April of 2019. Yeah, April of 2019. So, really, uh, WWE has been baking for a while. And baking doesn't always mean that it's setting up for a move to the upside. It could be setting up for a move to the downside. And with earnings coming, there's a possibility, depending on how earnings goes or how the market receives earnings, we could see that breakout or we could see that breakdown. So the breakout would represent, in my opinion, a change in sentiment, but a breakdown may not represent a change in sentiment. It might, be just, same old, same old. But yeah, so that's all I got when it comes to WWE. I hope this was valuable for you. I appreciate your participation. I'm not sure who that individual is that asked me to look at this. But if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. If you would like to see me do a markup on any other videos, I'm happy to do it. Just let me know. Um, Stay tuned for the next one. I'm not sure what I'll be marking up next, but I'm sure it'll be something cool. Make sure you go back and check out some of my old market markups. I tend to put these out once a week. But, as people start to request um, uh, market markups on different tickers, I'll probably put them out more often than once a week. So, like I said, please, if you're new here, or even if you're not new here and you haven't done so already, please do me the favor of subscribing. I will continue to put out great content. If you have any other questions about the markets that you'd like for me to cover, I will do my best to create a video and provide some information, provide whatever insight that I can, or point you to a resource that can assist with your question if I cannot. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next episode.